Welcome to the return of Teal Time for 2014. This is Ct Jags along with Bo Nose and a new co-host for the show, and we'll see if he wants to join us next week. Bubba, why don't you all introduce yourselves?
This is Bo.
Hey, this is Bubba, a.k.a. Jordan, repping the Jags.
All right, and tonight we're going to talk Jags talk. And since we were having a great discussion before, let's talk tailbacks.
I think Gearhart's going to be the guy. I think 1,200-yard season.
I think Gearhart has a hard-nosed work ethic that's within him. But at the same time, though, I look for big things from Storm Johnson. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people, and I believe he's going to actually challenge those other guys for that second spot behind Gearhart.
But his problem is in college he fumbles a lot. That's his only problem that concerns me.
True. I mean, true. That's something that he has to address. But as a overall talent, I mean, he has a nice size on him, has pretty good speed, and also too, he has really good vision, and he has tremendous cutback ability. And being with us, we're back in the Fred Taylor days, we were always known for the type of cutback or zone blocking type run scheme with Fred, especially with Fred Taylor. And
so what happens to Todman then? Is he gonna get cut?
I highly doubt it.
I don't think Todman will get cut. I think you just have to try to find a way to work Todman on the field along with the rest. Like, you can maybe make a special package. Like Todman, granted, Todman is not going to be as fast as anybody or anybody like Darren Sproles or something, but you could possibly use Todman in that particular way, like, because he can catch pretty decent too. So, I mean, line him up.
Then we got D-Rob.
Say it again.
Then we got Robinson.
Well, Robinson right now is listed as a wide receiver, not a running back.
True. I think Robinson can get on the field. It's just that it's all going to have to come down. I mean, it seems like we're going to have a great bit of talent at the positions, but it seems like it's just going to have to boil down to you're going to have to have really used players, and you have to have role players. I think Dante Robinson. I think he still has a shot to get on the field a lot. I mean, I did hear on the offseason he put on about 20 pounds. They say he put on about 20 pounds worth of weight. He still has that same speed. So I'm guessing he's preparing himself for more of that H-back type flash position if the Jags need it. But at the same time, though, D-Rob, I say if Blackman gets his shit together, since this hypothetically if Blackman had his shit together, I'd say D-Rob, Blackman and Shorts. Dante Robinson, Robinson, D-Rob with the stretch the field speed that he has, that'll be my guy that I'll send like straight down the field. Like him and Blackman straight down the field, and Shorts is the guy in the middle because Shorts is good to run a lot of shorter routes where he can sit in the zone. He's better that way. But only time will tell, man. Only time will tell.
I would start, playing a form of the spread because you got Sanders back there too.
Exactly. True.
And
at the same time, I mean, the spread could work. The spread normally works for
providing that they're not injured.
Yeah, they're all hurt right now.
Yeah, and the spread is kind of set up. The spread is kind of set up for guys like Ace Sanders, little kind of not necessarily small, but shorter guys with tremendous speed. The spread is set up because the bigger linebackers can't run with him. They can't run with him in pass coverage as far as shorter plays. But Shorts is going to not Shorts, but Sanders is going to get on the field a lot this year. He will.
But then we got Marquise Lee.
Who we got?
Marquise Lee. He can make plays. Yeah. He did at USC.
True enough.
If Marcus Lee is 2010 Marcus Lee, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I mean he's going to be a threat to even Blackman.
Exactly. But at the same time, I want to make sure Marquise Lee gets totally healthy because he's still nursing injuries as far as the knee and everything. He's still nursing injuries. I just want to see him get healthy. And therefore, if you're a head coach, You work him in this year. You get him some reps. Let him see what he can do, but you don't overdo it with a person like Marquise Lee right now. That's potentially can be your go-to guy, your explosive player for the next 2 or 3 years. I mean, you use him, but at the same time, you don't drill him in the ground. That's all I see.
So what do you think about the rumors now that they're going to keep Blackman?
Hell, I hope we do. Like I said, Blackman is too much of a talent to waste, man. If some way, somehow, if he could just get on the right track, man, Blackman's name can be in the top. I believe he has the potential to be in the top five discussions if he get his act together.
Yeah, we had this discussion on the last show, and I'm like, Rob Boogie was saying, okay, cut Blackman, and I was like, okay, well, if you cut him, you end up with what happens if he ends up the next wide receiver? Remember the one that was cut from the Cowboys that ended up the great star on the Jags? That's what's going to happen on another team.
Exactly. And like I was just telling Bo a minute ago, I was telling him earlier that a team and all Blackman has to do is go to another team, and if he straightens up and he goes to a place like Carolina, a place like Cam Newton where there's a big time vacancy at the receiving position, or somewhere like Buffalo, I mean, like trust and believe. The kid is not lacking in the talent department. He's just lacking in the common sense department as well as the maturity department. That's all. That's the only thing he's lacking in.
Imagine if he ended up on Dallas.
I'd hate it if he ended up on Dallas.
No, but what I'm saying, that would be like karma coming back to bite us in the ass, like what happened with the Cowboys.
Exactly.
Jimmy Smith.
Think about it. Dallas having a healthy Dez Bryant and a cleaned up Justin Blackman. Man, please, that could easily be the best receiving core in football. It could if it was to work out that way and he got his act together. It could easily be the best.
I mean, he's not costing us anything right now, though. He blew all his money. He threw like $12 million down the drain.
Yeah, I guess that's why I said that's where the maturity part comes in, man. He just has to learn how to set his feet straight and just stay grounded, man. I mean, and it's not just him. Plenty of rookies. Plenty of rookies or young players in the NFL today. They go through it. That's why it's so important to, if you're a team owner or a coach or any type of representative with the players. That's why I think it's dire to make sure you talk to your veterans and make sure they get involved with the rookies or the young players. You know what I'm saying? Because true enough, you can't force them and watch them 24/7. Just like the story with Lawrence Taylor the other day, I was watching a special about him, about his problems. You can't watch him 24/7. But all I'm saying is that when he's here, keep him with you. Keep him beside you and try to keep him grounded. I learned that. Say it again.
And what I learned, if this was 10 years ago, 15 years ago, Blackman, what he's doing would be a non-issue. But because it's the new NFL, it is an issue.
Exactly.
Back then, no problem.
Exactly. In the new NFL, if you cheat in the new NFL, hell, you can not tie your shoes the right way, and Goodell will get mad. He'll get mad about something.
Unless you're an owner, you get away with it then.
Yeah.
It's just crazy though. But think of the backfield. If Blackman is, keeps his head in the game and doesn't have a brain full of rocks, along with everybody else we have one of the most, exciting, developing. What would the correct word be? Explosive, as far as like our wide receiver core.
I think it would be who do we get rid of because we have too many of them.
Well, you'd keep Lee, and you'd keep, Robinson, the one we just drafted.
You have to get rid of Shorts.
And then you'd keep Shorts, and you'd have Blackman, and then who am I missing? And then you have Sanders. There's your 5.
True. Because think about it. Think about it. A reprogrammed Blackman. Think about it. 2 years from now, a reprogrammed with more mature Blackman plus the shorts. Plus the Sanders, minus shorts, plus the Sanders, plus a D-Rob, plus Marquise Lee, and a potentially young, good, sturdy tight end. And if it all plays out, man, as long as we keep a good offensive line around Bortles and he develops properly, man, we could have one of the most deadly. We could potentially have one of the most deadliest offensive specialist groups in the NFL.
Exactly.
I think we're building this team to win yearly like the Patriots. I really do.
And when you all were saying where would Todman play, I got the perfect position other than, tailback a play here or there. Put him in special teams.
Yeah, true enough. Special teams, or he can play the role instead of being an every down. Now he's not. I don't believe he's going to be every down back. He kind of has a size issue with him too. He's kind of a little shabby at the size. But what I was explaining to Bo is that maybe make up some packages on how the Saints use Darren Sproles. Let Todman line up in front of a couple linebackers and let him a couple special packages. My thing is that you don't let talent like that sit on the sideline and not use it. You want to make sure you use it. See, and this is what I'm looking for with Gus. I'm looking to find out is Gus going to be the type of coach to kind of have that Bill Belichick type attitude where everybody's going to have a use. Nobody's just going to sit and just take up space.
I don't think it's on Gus. I think it's totally going to be on Jed Fish.
Yeah, it is.
But the moral of the story is that I just want everybody to use the talent. If we're building, it seems to me that we're building a roster. We're building a real roster, a real competitive roster. We're building one for the next 2-3 years. My thing is that it's like Bo said. I see this team heading in a direction to where we could potentially become a yearly contender. I think within the next 2 years we're going to challenge for the AFC. We're going to challenge for our division in the next 2 years. We're going to challenge easily.
And I'll agree. And I'll also go further than this. Nobody sees this, but I see it. Think of what Philly's building over, the Eagles are building right now, using the college route to bring into the NFL. I think the Jags are doing the exact same thing. They're just not talking about it.
Yeah, we're just not getting the attention from the national media. That's the only thing we're not getting.
Well, you know what they say. We're gonna be the ignored bunch until we prove ourselves. Like Bo was saying earlier. If we win at least 7 or 8 games, I'm just saying 7. If we win at least 7 or 8 games this year, I think we're definitely gonna command a lot of attention. We're definitely gonna command a lot of attention because that's gonna show that the team is heading in the right direction. And I promise you, I got a feeling in my heart that if we win 7 or 8 games this year, we could potentially win 14 in the next 2. We can.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, when do you ever see a wide receiver reverse to a touchdown throw from a wide receiver?
True. Oh well, you got a point there, buddy. I mean, I'm not too sure about that whole situation. I mean, it's a puzzling situation. It's very puzzling. But at the same time, like I said, I don't know. I think we just have to make use of everything. That's all. I just don't want to see talent wasted. That's all. Like I said, I know you said Jed Fish and Gus. As long as they're the type of group where they're going to find a use for everybody, I think we'll be okay. Just don't waste talent. That's all. I just hate to waste talent.
I think Jed Fish is going to end up the new Mr. Gadget, like what Malarkey was supposed to been, but never mounted to out here in Jacksonville.
The only problem I have with Jed Fish is he gets away from the running game at times. He was OC at Miami, so I know him real well. He gets away from the running game at times. He gets pass happy. That's my only issue with him.
But you got Bortles back there. If you got Bortles, starting, yeah, and I know everybody's going to be like, Chad Henne's going to start. But, I mean, if you got Bortles back there, you might as well go, pass-oriented, because this is the new NFL. You're not going to win running.
True,
yeah.
and we've actually changed. I mean, true. I mean, the Jags' identity is more so They're trying to turn it into a pass, more so of a passing identity, the same as the Falcons. I mean, since the emergence of Julio and Matt Ryan in 2008, I mean, the Falcons have pretty much turned it into a more passing type offense. And I think we can do the same, but I'd rather us be just. I hope we just can be. I hope we just can be a juggernaut. I want to be good on. I don't have to be the best. I don't want to be the strongest at each end, but at the same time, I like to be effective at each end. That means I can serve you up on a dish with a run, or either I can burn you with a pass. I mean, as long as we can keep it on a balanced level, I think we should be good because we have a defense good enough right now. I think we have a defense good enough right now to compete with a lot of people. We just have to have a balanced offense. That's it.
I just
don't
know.
Think we have a top 10 defense?
Do I think we have a top 10 defense? Honestly, I wouldn't say top 10, but I would say definitely top 15.
I think we'll
definitely top
27th last year, 28th. I think we can make a big jump this year. I got a good feeling.
I think we will too because you know the guy that played for Philly is there with Clemens right now, and when he had help with Philly, he actually did stuff. And then when he came to Jacksonville and had nobody to help him out, he didn't do nothing.
Oh, Babin.
Yeah,
Babin. But see, Babin, what it is with Babin is that
last year a boneheaded penalty.
True enough. I think he had a late hit call in one of those games that I was like, what the hell when I seen it. But I'm telling you what it is. Babin.
On the Rams game, he had one.
Babin is just, to me, I look at it like this. Babin, to me, is just, he's a special talent, especially on the pass rushing situations. But it's frustration too, dudes. I mean, it's frustration when you're pretty much busting ass on your own, on the field trying to do your job, and you want the next man next to you to bust ass as well too. So that's where I look at it with Babin. But Babin to me, he's always been a better pass rusher than a run stuffer because a lot of times he over pursues a lot. He does. He loses containment. But at the same time, though, I think that if the man right next to him plays hard, if all 3 or 4 of our defensive linemen play hard nose ball all game, I think we could have a stellar defensive line.
Well,
but I look for big.
I don't like Branch. I wish we get rid of him because I don't like him. I just don't think he's good enough.
What if they did this? What, just hypothetical. What if they took Babin on one side, Brian on the other? Just listen one moment, okay? You have Hood in the middle, along with Marks. And then you put Clemens as an outside linebacker.
Well, I mean, it could work. I mean, I like to see it play out. I mean, don't get me wrong. The way I was looking at the setup so far, I'm pretty comfortable with the way it looks now. Where it may be Babin on one end and maybe Clemens on the other because Clemens has always been a pass rush specialist. He was a pass rush specialist at UGA. I mean, but Clemens on one end, Babin on one end. You can do Ziggy Hood in the middle, and like you said, Marks. I mean, I'm satisfied with that because but as far as like an outside linebacker / pass rusher, if we would have went that route, I sure as hell would have liked to either at least have the Jags contact Lamar Woodley from the Steelers. I thought that would have been a good pickup for us as far as like a pass rusher.
And we don't know if they did or not. I mean, if media doesn't say it, we don't know.
True.
But I like the kid they got from the Bucks from Florida State. What's his name? Dakota Watkins or whatever his name is. He's a speedy guy.
True.
But what I'm saying, if they're mimicking what Seattle's doing with all them pass rushers, I mean, who's really going to block Marks, Hood, if he's, back in, the way he played in college, Babin, Bryant, and then Clemens, all coming at once.
I'm just glad we're having this discussion because last year we had no depth at all. None.
Exactly. We were pretty much sitting with the first 3 or 4 to play all game, every game. But I think that with the addition of Ziggy Hood to the interior D line rotation, that's
how about Red Bryant? He's going to be a big time for to stop the run.
Exactly. But Red Bryant is to the point now in his career where Brett Brown's been playing about 9 years now, 9 seasons. So he's to the point now where, to be honest, I would pretty much keep a rotation of the interior defensive linemen, all linemen period. I would keep a rotation, and I wouldn't pretty much force Red Brown to play every game, every snap, all game. But I just keep him.
I don't see them doing that because Seattle they rotate like college. I think that's what Gus wants to do is rotate.
The only person I see can stay on the field all game, physically, because he's done it for us for a while, would be Babin. That's the only person I can see stay on the field all game because he's done it physically.
Marks did it last year. He had a pretty good year last year. He surprised me. I didn't know who the hell he was after last year.
Yeah, and then where are you going to put Branch too? He's coming around though.
I don't like Branch. I really don't. He's in that old regime, and I just want to get rid of him. He's a Dean Smith draft pick. Get rid of him.
Well, then would you get rid of Shorts as well?
I said I would trade him to Cleveland because they would come calling, and I would take a second round pick for Shorts. I'm ready to get rid of the old regime. It's time to get rid of these guys. Branch was a second round pick, and he hasn't done nothing for us. 6 sacks last year. That's it.
Well, I'm not going to get rid of Blackman, but then again, I think that Blackman was a pick from Corn, and I don't care what anyone said.
I'm not getting rid of Blackman. He's the only one I'll keep from that staff.
You just sit on Blackman like a goose sitting on eggs, just waiting. Like, nope, you're not going nowhere.
Good, I'm not getting rid of him.
But I agree with that. I agree with that though. If anybody has to go, it should be Shorts. If anybody has to go, it should be Shorts, because think about it. If you get rid of Shorts, then that opens up for Ace Sanders pretty much to get more playing time on the field.
Yeah, him or the rookie. You got the 2 rookies coming in, and then you got to think Shorts is coming in. This is his last year. He's going to be in a contract year.
Well,
so you want to pay him.
I'm still pissed off at Shorts, and this is just a stupid grudge. But he routinely catches balls like nothing. And when D-Rob threw him the pass, he dropped it.
Yeah, he did. But he caught the ball against the Browns to win. Beat Joe Hayden.
I know, but it just seemed like it was set up. Like he was like, okay, it's a different quarterback. I don't want a controversy. I'm not catching it.
True. I
think if any receiver goes, it's got to be him. He's just the one.
True. Shorts. Let me say this. Shorts. His problem is just consistency. That's all. If he was more consistent with his hands, his catching of the ball, man, people don't understand. Shorts could potentially be one of the most utilized slot players you got in the game today. He could be, but it's good.
What worries me with him though is his concussions.
Exactly.
He reminds me of Miles Austin. That's who he reminds me of. Exactly.
Miles Austin came up on the scene like 1 or 2 years and burst out in front of everybody, and
got paid.
Got paid and turned it to Injury City and Concussion City.
or the dude that used to play for the Clots. I can't think of his name. The white dude.
Play for who?
Our rival. I don't say their name.
I think he's talking about Dallas Clark.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, when they retired.
No. It wasn't Clark. I'm trying to think of what his name was. He was a really good wide receiver for Indy.
Collie? Austin Collie?
Yeah, there we go. Collie.
Yeah,
but he was concussion.
I think this year is definitely going to be I see nothing but a 7 to 8 win season. I don't care what anybody has to say.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at our schedule, think of how we played this past year with the passion. And first of all, people don't understand. Gus to me seems like the type of coach where he can reach your damn soul. Like he can get in the huddle and talk to you and touch your soul with his words. That we need that, man. Jacksonville has been asleep for a couple of years. We've been asleep. like mentally for a couple of years.
When I look at this schedule, man, this schedule just looks easy. Like it's possible they go. I look at it, I'm like, man, they could win 10 games. When I look at the schedule,
you still have Chad Henne.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, man, I don't think if he just doesn't turn the ball over, he's never had an offensive line the last 2 years he's been here. I believe in him. I believe in Henne.
As long as Chad Henne, what it is, as long as Chad Henne, he doesn't have to win the game for us, but he just doesn't have to lose it for us. That's what it is. Like his performance against the Texans last year. Oh yeah, true. I mean, he threw a few touchdowns, but if you watch the first half, I mean, he was throwing safe passes the whole game. I mean, give me safe passes. I'll take it. Everybody's not going to be Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. Nobody has that field general type presence where they can put it where they want to. Give me safe passes. Give me 15-yard passes. Give me 10-yard passes that are to a receiver that can turn it into a 30-yard game. Give it to me. I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be the star. Just be poised and just play your part. I'll take it.
And I agree, but, I mean, the thing is, every time I depend on, Chad Henne, he lets me down every freaking time. It's like clockwork.
True. I think
the Michigan fans, too.
I think as far as, like, the offensive line goes, true enough, the line wasn't the best. Honestly, I've maybe seen 2 games all last year where we had our offensive line really played. I mean, for one, it was the Texans game. The Texans game on TV last year. I mean, the offensive line really played. But like I said, with the addition of the extras we have on the interior of the offensive line, Beatles, by getting Beatles from Denver and having a healthier interior offensive line now, I think it's going to be a lot better because most of Chad Henne's pressures when he plays come from up the middle. It comes from up the middle. It's not necessarily the tackles.
I'm worried about the center position, man. I don't know if what's his name is strong enough.
Brewster?
Yeah, Brewster.
I don't think we have a center.
I think I just have to see it play out, man. I want to see what he can do. I mean, everybody deserves their shot. If they give you a shot, hey, cool, take advantage of it. But like I said, I do know one thing. I mean, the Beatles pickup was big for us. I mean, because it's been a while since we had an actual good guard. It's been a while since we actually had a good guard.
I agree.
Well, they got rid of last year. They cut is Ensign Wari, number 77. They cut him. I mean, I thought he was a pretty good player sometimes. But he wasn't consistent. That's his problem. He didn't have any consistency with him.
And the thing is, they tried him at center, and it didn't work.
Exactly. It didn't work at all. And like I said, I was definitely pleased about it. I actually thought the Jags were going to try to go year before last. I thought the Jags would actually put in the bid for Chance Warmack from Alabama.
Yeah, but I feel you. What are you, a Titan?
He's actually a Titan now.
Yeah. Hey, going back to D-line, I'll give you a name we forgot, was Alua. What about him?
As far as Alu, to be honest with you,
disappointment.
I think he's developed into a good player. He's developed into a good player now, like as of recently. But overall, disappointment. A way too high draft pick.
Yeah, I mean,
definitely way too high draft pick. Definitely in the wrong scheme. I mean, like, come on. I mean, like he was played up to be the next John Henderson or Marcus Stroud. I'm like, come on, dude. Like, really? Like, all this money he got and first round pick. Don't get me wrong. The guy, he to me, he's more of a role player. I see him more of as a role player, dude, than this big time name on the defensive line. More of a role player.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that'll give you.
Well, he made the team.
He's one of those. Otto was one of those guys that in high school that'll only give you 3 tackles the whole game, and maybe one of them maybe a tackle for loss. That's it. To me, I look at him as one of those guys like that.
The thing is, he had a lot of hype, and that's why he was picked early, I think. And I don't.
Well, it was Gene Smith picking too.
Well, regardless, I mean, he was, he is a big dude, and he did have speed, but I mean, it just didn't develop into anything.
Yeah, it didn't. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I love all the Jags, man. As long as you out there fighting hard for the Jags, I'll support you. But my thing is that when I look at Alualu, I just see him as a guy, man. I see him as a guy that pretty much is just a role player. That's it. He has this big time name in Jacksonville, but that's it.
Yeah, and people think I'm a Chad Henne hater. I'm not. If he wins, 8 games, 10 games, 12 games, more power to him, and I'll support him. But I just don't see it. I've watched him play since Michigan. I don't see it.
So Ray, you want Bortles to start day one?
Why not? I mean, think about it. Not everybody's going to be a Gabbert. And you also have to remember with Gabbert, which people will bash me to no end, but he had no line to work with. He had a line built for the run, and he was, a spread quarterback. How's that going to work?
Yeah, but he was scared to get hit. He wouldn't step up in the pocket. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. I watched that freaking Houston game. I seen him get a shot in the head and the knees, the same play. He came back and played. To me, that shows heart. And it also, look at the wide receivers he had. Garbage. Even Chris Carter said on, one of the pre-shows for the Houston Jags game, he said these wide receivers don't know how to run a route. They don't know how to catch. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, but that's the same players that Henne's been playing with the last 2 years.
And, I mean, that's the excuse you can make for Henne. But we'll see this year.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I think a top 5 pick needs to play now. But then at the same time, I don't want him to ruin him. I want him to develop.
If he's with the same coaching staff, he won't be ruined. If the coaching staff changes, it will ruin a player. But if he's with the same coaching, staff and allowed to develop, he won't be ruined. Unless he's just garbage to begin with.
So you say throw him in week 1 in Philly, at Philly.
Sure, why not?
Then at Washington.
I would say honestly, I wouldn't say week 1. I would say give it the first couple weeks with Henne. Give it the first maybe 4 or 5 weeks into the season. Just let him get a feel. Play him though. You still play him. Let him get some reps. Let him get a feel for it, and then maybe determine.
So if it's a close game, you're gonna throw the rookie in.
If it's a close game,
yeah,
I don't think I take that.
They were second quarter. It's 14-10. We're losing. You're gonna throw the rookie in.
I don't think I put him in.
No. That's not what we're saying. But if you lose 4 or 5 in a row, would you not?
Yeah.
Now I agree with that. That's the reason I just said. I said maybe give it the first few weeks. Give it the first 4, or maybe 5 to 6 weeks in the season to see what it'll play out with Henne. Because my thing is that I want everybody to start out on a clean slate where everybody's healthy at the beginning of the season. Just give Henne the first 4 or 5 weeks with a healthy team. Let me just see what he can do with a healthy team.
And here's the problem, once again, I have with Chad. All right? Lagerman said it best. During the game, he held on the ball, and he's like, what is he waiting on, 10 Mississippi?
Yeah, he holds the ball.
He holds the ball too long.
Now.
Well, you could have the best line in the world, but you're not going to have, 10 seconds to throw it every time.
Yeah, but exactly. The offense, inside and out. It's just finally his first year with the same old coordinator for back-to-back years. I think now he knows where his reads are quicker now.
I still say throw the young guy in. That's my opinion. But if Chad starts winning or comes close to winning, then I'm all for it. As long as there's some excitement. If there's no excitement going on, and you can't stay with Chad. I don't care if the boy's not ready or the man's not ready. If you've just lost 6 in a row, it's time to put him in.
If we lose 6 in a row, I'm gonna go crazy.
I totally agree. I totally agree with you on that one, man. Like if we go down 6, if we go down the first six games, then yeah, go ahead and put the rookie in. Give it to him. Let's see what he can make happen.
See, but then you got to think. Cam Newton played right away. All these guys played right away. Matt Ryan, they all played right away. So why? That's my thing where I'm like, well, why not just play them?
True.
If he doesn't know the system, that would be why. I will say this about, Henny, though. If you look back last year, everybody was saying, okay, yeah, we suck, or, outside of, the diehard Jags fans. But what they don't realize is, what was it, like 5 of 7 freaking teams we played ended up freaking playoff?
Oh, yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier. We played the first 8 games. We played the Chiefs, played the Broncos, we played Seattle, we played the 49ers. We played 4 of the top teams in the playoffs.
And we played Indy as well.
Yeah, we played Indy. We played Arizona, who was a 10-win team. I mean, we played a tough schedule.
Exactly. It's not like I got a little joke here, but it's not like we had an Alabama Crimson Tide schedule where you got 2 tough opponents and you're playing Wyoming and Rice and all. It's not like we had that.
And I would agree there.
Schedule, I like it. I think it's a lot easier.
But I got a question though. What about Stephen Morris?
I've heard that he was just brought in to teach Bortles the playbook because he already knows the playbook.
Okay.
So I heard that's his job.
Okay.
You think he could be deeper than that, and they're gonna cut Henny and just have him there till Bortles is ready?
I think he'll be on the practice squad. I think he'll be on the practice squad this year. I think eventually it'll be him, and I think he'll be the backup. Because he had his best year at Miami with Jed Fish. I mean, I'll give him that.
Yeah, but you still got also too, you still got Ricky Stanzi as well too. Like what is the deal with Stanzi? Stanzi just seems like to me like he's taking up a roster spot.
He is. I think he's gonna get cut. I think they're only gonna have 3 quarterbacks on the roster.
And watch Henny get cut before week 1.
No.
Here we go again.
If he's going week 1, that means we're going Bortles all the way.
Yeah, we're going with Garrard. We're going with Garrard. Oh, well, Garrard's cut.
Oh my God, that was I honestly, that pissed me off so bad when they did that. Like why would you have a player? Why would you announce a player as your starter and cut him like 2-3 days before the season starts? I mean, come on. You set yourself up for that one. Jacksonville set themselves up that year for that one.
Well,
they really did.
I mean, honestly, it was because he had a back injury. I don't think it was anything more. They knew he had a back injury. And when he tried to, for another team, it was proven that he had a back injury.
True.
So, I mean, that's the only thing about that. But once again, you never know. Will Henny, get cut? I highly doubt it, but it's possible. Anything is possible.
Well, I personally think Henny's play from last season, it at least earned him a roster spot as a backup this year. It at least earned it. If all else fails, has officially earned him a spot on the roster as a backup.
Chad Henny will not play backup.
You said he will not be the backup?
No, he won't, and I'll explain why. Because when he became the starter after Blaine, kept on messing up, or he had no line, whatever way you want to call it, him and Malarkey were like buddy, and he kept on saying, "Well, I'm the starter." So no, he's not going to play backup.
You don't think he played backup?
I don't think so.
I mean, but you got to think if Jacksonville did say Bortles is the man, and next year, where else would he start at?
Because I don't see Chad Henne going to any other NFL team and basically taking a starting spot. I don't see it.
I don't see it either. I mean, Michael Vick can't even do it, so I just don't see it.
Exactly, and Michael Vick would have been a whole lot better to have right now than Henne.
I agree until he got hurt. Only thing about Vick is he gets hurt too much.
Exactly. But I mean, who knows, man? Like I said, I'm thinking positive, and I'm not just trying to be positive on just based off of good thoughts, but I really believe in what's being put together as far as like roster wise in Jacksonville. I really believe.
And I agree, but the first 2 games are going to be tough.
Man, Washington, they don't have the defense. I just think Washington's a win. I think Philly will be tough. I think Washington's a win.
I don't know. You have RG3 with a number 1 receiver again.
Exactly.
He has not had a number 1, receiver since, his days been back in Baylor.
Well, he actually had
their defense stop us.
Exactly. Their defense, like honestly, I think that the Redskins game and as well as the Philly game, it's actually winnable. Each one of them is winnable. I mean, because think about it. I mean, Philly doesn't have Deshaun Jackson anymore. I mean, and they still have Shady McCoy, but it sounds a whole lot better and looks a whole lot better for an offense to have Deshaun and Shady on the field at the same time. But I will say this: it's the same thing with the Redskins. He just said about the defense. Philly's defense is just not there. I mean, they can't stop anybody. I mean, you can score a ton of points, but you can't stop anybody. I mean, true, you can put up 25 points, 30 points, but what good is that going to do if you can't stop the opponent from scoring 45 or 50?
But when was the last time we scored 30, 40 points?
True. It's been more so a balanced thing as far as the offense, which is why I said we have a defense good enough to where right now we have a defense good enough. We can trade blows with any other team. I think right now as far as defensively, we can. It's just that hell, if we can stop another team from scoring above, if we could hold teams this season from scoring more than 15 points a game, we could easily win 10 games. Easily. But the point of the matter is that how many offenses we're going to see this season that don't score no more than 15. Hell, we're going to see a couple offenses that score 30 or 40. Hint the 49er game last year. They put 48 points on us in London. I mean, we couldn't stop them, but our defense played decent. I mean, like I said, man, it's going to have to be a balanced attack. Basically, each side is going to have to pick up the slack for each other, offense and defense. They're going to have to. But I think by the Eagles and Redskins games, I think we beat the Redskins when we lose to the Eagles. Honestly,
that's what I think too. I wouldn't be surprised if we were 2-0 either, 0-2, but I would love.
But if we have to lose one, I'm going to say the Eagles get us. They get us, but we beat the Reds. We definitely beat the Redskins.
I don't know. Once again, you got RG3 and Jackson, back there, and I know people, talk about RG3, not as good, as his status, always, injured, this, that, and the other. But when he had right, he was phenomenal, and that's the thing about it. I mean, I'm not saying that we can't beat Washington, and I'm not saying that we can't beat Philly. I hope we go 16-0 and at least, make it to the divisional, playoffs and everything. But the reality of it is we have a very, tough schedule. I mean, on paper it may not look that way, but if in reality it could be a whole different story.
Yeah, but Redskins are in the same process we are. I mean,
exactly. They're pretty much trying to put the pieces back together in Washington, just like we are.
I think actually we're ahead of them right now because I think our defense is better. I think their offensive line is terrible.
Exactly. But the thing about it is that the reason why I'm not too much worried about the Redskin game is because, I mean, people don't really give us a lot of credit, man, for having a young court. But our secondary is going to be pretty good. That group of secondary we have right now with Blackman and Gratz, they're going to be pretty good.
Well, I think we get that kid from Oklahoma back healthy, man. He might have been steal a draft.
Yeah, I understand. I agree with that one, too. I totally agree. I mean, I think that, like I said, I think that as far as, like, secondary-wise, like, give us 2 or 3 years. Give us 2 years with this same secondary, and we're going to have one of the top secondaries in the football. We're going to have one of the top secondaries in football.
All right. So
start besides Tip. Evans?
Say it again?
Who's going to start beside Cyprian? Evans?
Well, I mean, it just depends. I mean, honestly, Cyprian is pretty much going to set the mold for everybody on the team right now as far as, like, defensive back-wise. Because, I mean, Cyprian, I watched him last season. He has a little learning to do. He has a learning curve to get over. But overall, the kid's a freak. He's a freak at the position.
You know what's funny? Once again, if I go back 10, 15 years, Jonathan right now would be Hall of Fame bound. But because of the new rules, it's going to be hard because he's a hard-hitting safety. He's probably the best we've had since DD.
Exactly. I still remember the famous clothesline against Green Bay.
Now that's like $1 million penalty.
But again, Cyprian, man, Cyprian to me, I look for big things from him this season. Like this season, I look for his name to be pretty much in that talked about bracket for safeties. I look for his name to be in there this season because and the team is going to look at him as one of the leaders as well too. They're going to look at him as one of the leaders on the team.
No love from the league is Paz, man. People don't know how good he is on other teams. They really don't. I had some Cowboy fan tell me, "Who is he?" I'm like, "Are you serious?"
Well, because he had nothing. He had nothing else out there to work with, though. That's why.
Exactly. And then when that Cowboy fan asked, "Who is he?" You should have asked. You should have told him who is Sean Lee? Who has Sean Lee been the last 2 or 3 years? That's what you should ask him. I mean, don't get me wrong. Sean Lee's a very special talent, but again, a person like him can't stay healthy. He's too tender. Everything is always hurting on him. But Paz was actually pretty good when he was in Buffalo. Paz was a did he play for? Was it Buffalo or what did he play for?
Bills.
Yeah, it was Buffalo.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Buffalo. Yeah, the Bills. Paz was pretty good. He was a pretty good force at Buffalo, but he was just up there by himself. I mean, he was the same situation. He was the lone. He was the lone ranger on the field by himself.
Yeah, he must be licking his chops now. He's like, all right, I can't help out of here.
But overall,
he put out a statement yesterday saying he's excited to be whatever he said. He's trying to get the fan base pumped up. He said a part of something special or something.
Overall, Paz can play, but what I really wanted to happen, I really was looking for. I thought Jacksonville was going to pick up Mac, and we're going to pick up Mac at middle, and let him play middle, and then move Paz on the outside. That's what I really thought was going to happen.
Okay. That Mac. I thought you were talking about the other Mac for a moment.
I wish we could have had both Macs. I wish we could have had both. Hell, I mean, it would have been nice, even though the other Mac had me excited, saying that he signed a little offer sheet and everything, and I was like, okay, we're going to get a new center, and then they turned around and reeled him back in.
There was no way. We had no money to match.
Yeah, and just like the other day, they just I think it's Marquise Pouncey from the Steelers. He just signed he's officially now the highest paid center in football. But if you watch him play, man, dude's a beast, and he's a beast at center.
How's the draft pick we picked up for a center?
I don't know, man. The center I wanted in the draft was a kid from Florida State, Stork. That's who I really wanted.
Okay, but the one we picked up, anybody have any word on him?
I don't really know much about him. He went to UVA, is all I know.
He's basically well, when I read the little blog site, they said that he's really been working one-on-one with Brewster, like working one-on-one with Brewster. You know, they're working one-on-one with Brewster. Brewster's kind of like taking him up under his wing to show him, but at the same time, it's still an open battle because Brewster still has to prove himself.
Yeah,
Brewster still has to prove himself this season.
Yeah. No disrespect against Brewster, but it's really the blind leading the blind right now.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, because Brewster hasn't earned anything.
Right,
yeah.
Outside of college.
There was a center that I wanted a couple of years ago that was playing football, and he came from Virginia Tech. There was a center that I wanted the Jags to sign.
Play for the Reds.
His name Jake Grove. And I wanted the Jags to sign him so bad, but they never picked him up. Jake Grove.
Here's the deal. There's two points I wanted to, say real quick. One, it was funny that you mentioned Sean Lee because that's who Gene Smith originally wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And two, when you think of Jonathan Cyprian, and he reminds you of DD, but he also reminds you of the guy from Washington, who's the late guy,
Don Taylor.
Yeah.
He actually does. He actually does a lot, and I actually can see the comparison because to think about it, I mean, Jonathan Cyprian is a monster as far as like run support. He's a monster as far as like run support. I mean, the guy basically can come up and play outside backer if he wants to. He can. I mean, but at the same time, though, you can be a talent. You can be a tip-top talent, and your surrounding cast cannot be that good, and you'll just basically fade away because your surrounding cast is not that good. But Jonathan Cyprian, I look for a breakout year from him this year. I mean, I look for no less than 115 tackles. Hell, I even look for at least 4 or 5 sacks and at least 4 or 5 picks this year. I look for all that from him.
You looking for Pro Bowl?
Pro Bowl for Jacksonville?
For Cyprian.
For Cyprian, it's possible because you got to think about it. With the in the AFC now, Troy Polamalu's starting to slow down. Ed Reed doesn't know what he's going to do. One day he wants to play, one day he wants to retire. So, I mean, I really think that as far as AFC-wise, I mean, Cyprian could pretty much be a big name if he steps up this year.
Another one that could be a big name is the guy from UConn, Gratz.
Exactly. And Gratz is if you watch Gratz play last year, Gratz is a monster when it comes to trying to get off the line against him. He pretty much the dude manhandles, like it's almost like he jacks up the receiver at the line. But at the same time he has a little height on him too, so when you throw the pass he can stretch out and use his range. Gratz is gonna be pretty good. I think him and Will Blackman are gonna be pretty good.
You got Blackman,
I look forward.
Ball. I like Will Blackman.
Yeah, and
Blackman may be a little bit more faster than Gratz though. He's more of a speedier guy than Gratz. Gratz is going to be what you call he's not the fastest corner, and he's pretty much a good tackler. Gratz is going to be one of those guys that's going to come up and lay the wood. He's going to come up and be pretty much a big time supporter in the run.
And he's like a ball hawk safety except for at a corner.
Exactly.
He's always at the point of the ball.
And he has a great knack for the ball. I watched the game when we played the Texans. He was pretty much everywhere the ball went, he was over there. I mean, it's like I said, when you're a defensive player and you got a good knack for the ball and you got a high motor, I mean, shit, man. I mean, who can stop you? I mean, who think about it? Who can? I mean, as long as you got a great knack for the ball. And you have that high motor.
I think this new D line is going to help them out a lot too, because now they're going to get pressure on the quarterback.
All right,
exactly.
I have a question for you all. Who do you think's going to play to Leo?
Watson.
I was gonna say Watkins. Watson. I was gonna say Watson. Him. He plays Leo. Watson. That's pretty much the best bet for right now.
Yeah, I think that's why they brought him in, just for that position.
Exactly.
Or the kid from Florida State, Telvin Smith, because he's fast. He's fast.
Exactly.
For size.
And see those smaller linebackers with the foot speed hit. Case in point, from the Steelers. I think his name is it Simmons or Lawrence Timmons? Lawrence Timmons.
Yeah, another Florida State dude. I
mean, another Florida State backer that was undersized, but look what he turned into as a pass rusher. I mean, he literally is the reason. He's literally one of the reasons why James Harrison is going right now out of Pittsburgh. He's literally one of the reasons why he's going.
Another guy who they got is a free agent. Is the kid from LSU. Oh, what's his name? Colston. Man, he's aggressive. At LSU, he was aggressive as hell, man. I love the way he played.
Exactly.
All right, so where could you see, where's our weak link right now?
Right now, I'm going to say...
Outside of center.
Outside of center? On offense or defense?
Either or.
I'm going to say middle linebacker. It's been a while since we've had a dominant force in the middle linebacker position.
So
overall, I'm gonna say the linebackers. Overall, the linebackers. We have a good defensive line now and secondary, but outside of Paz can't do it all himself at the linebacker position.
But isn't he the middle linebacker that you said that we haven't had?
You say what?
So you don't like the other kid from Florida State? What's his name? Plays on the left or the weak side?
Well,
I like him.
I mean, where is Paz going to play though?
I personally think Paz can play middle, but to me, Paz plays a lot better on the outside because of his foot speed.
Okay. That's what I was asking because you said we didn't have a middle linebacker, and the last time I checked, it was Paz. So I'm like, okay, where's he going?
As far as Paz, to me, Paz does better on the outside. It's a similar situation to Jonathan Vilma in New Orleans. Jonathan Vilma, to me, his play style and his foot speed, his pursuit would have done a whole lot better as an outside backer as opposed to a middle. But Paz, take Paz and put him on the outside. If we would have picked up Mac, like I said, once again, if we would have picked up Mac and put him in the middle, and you could have shifted Paz to the outside, then you would have been working with something.
Yeah,
you could have been working with something.
If I'm a quarterback and I see Paz on the outside, I'm going to be shaken up a little.
Exactly. I mean, like I said, the kid Paz is a lot faster than what people think he is. I mean, he showed me that in college when he played for Penn State. I mean. The kid, I think, Paz had 27 or 28 tackles for loss one year as a senior. I mean, he's good. He's good as far as the outside, but it's been a while since Jacksonville had a dominant force in the middle, a really really dominant force in the middle linebacker position, and that's been a position that we've been kind of ignoring for the past couple of years in the draft. We really have.
That's all
our weakness. I think our weakness would be quarterback because we don't have an answer yet for Bortles.
True. Well, like I said, I really was happy with free agency this year because I felt like it was a lot of talent to be signed this year in free agency. There was a lot of talent to be picked up, but I know we're going in the direction of a younger team, so we really weren't going to spend much money on the older guys. We really weren't.
Yeah.
And what's your weakest link?
What do I see the weakest link right now? One of the guard spots.
Do you think the right guard spot? I think Brandon Linder's going to fit in fine because he already knows the offense.
I mean, other than the center, which is, I don't know. It's going to be hard to score points if you don't have a center.
True.
I mean, but I don't know. I don't know about the center position. I'm hoping it's for the best.
I've always expected more from Will Rackley. I always expected more from Will Rackley as far as like on the offensive line wise. I mean, I think he's a pretty good player, but at the same time though, I just don't think he hasn't been as effective as he could have been.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, he was also injured as well.
Mm-hmm. I understand that too, but at the same time though, how long have we had Will Rackley now? It's been about 3 years now, 3 or 4 years.
No, I'm understanding what you're saying, and that's why I said one of the guard spots is a definite weak link. And on defense, I still think I know that we have 1 million pass rushers, but I still think come next year we need a dominant pass rusher.
Yeah, I think we need a young dominant pass rusher.
And I tell you a name you can pick. I tell you Chris Clemens. I tell you a name you can look at too as well. There's a player by that there's a pass rusher for University of Georgia where it's number 84. I think his last name is Fowler or Gibson or something. But the kid is like 6'4", like 235, 240, but nothing but specialist, nothing but a edge rusher. I mean, I see that as one of our targets. Because he plays similar to the kid in Seattle named Bruce Irvin. He plays similar to him. But Bruce Irvin is just a little more undersized than this kid as far as the height-wise. But I do agree, fellas. Next year we do need to pick up a young pass rusher because, like you said, maybe next year some of our other excess pass rushers will be gone. We need a young pass rusher. We need a young stud.
If he was still available, which I don't know what the situation is right now, but would you give up a draft pick right now if we could grab Jordan from Miami?
What pick am I giving up?
Exactly. It depends on what we're giving up. But don't get me wrong now.
I would give a fourth. That's about it. Fourth.
Because he's still a project. You know what I'm saying? Deion Jordan is still a project. They're still working to try to get him in the best spot they can put him into. What I do believe is that I don't believe he'll be in Miami long though. I don't believe he'll be.
My thing, Miami traded up to get him, and he didn't even play every snap at Oregon. I mean, that was just a dumb move.
But
I think he was drafted a little too high, if you ask me. He was, and like you said, didn't even play every snap. For like 2 years, he kept missing games and snaps, and it's crazy. I think it was a desperation pick that high. That high that Miami just wanted to grab somebody. But
why did Miami do that? They already had pass rushers. They got Cameron Wake and Olivier Vernon. That's the Dolphins.
I would put right now. I would give up a third, and this is the reason why. The Leo.
Yeah, but that third-round pick is valuable.
But so is having a dominant Leo.
True. I mean, I understand because think about it. Deion Jordan on one end rushing and Jason Babin coming from the other. I mean, hell.
So that means Branch is gone.
Yeah, oh, definitely. If Deion Jordan was to come to the Jaguars, then Branch would have to go. Because out of all of the defensive linemen, Branch is the one that you don't see the most promise in right now because he's, like you said, he's not really proven himself.
I've seen a couple plays where he was, where he did good, but a couple isn't going to be good enough.
Exactly. You have to have consistent plays.
Do you all remember, that video that, that we were forced to see? Well, I'm not going to say forced to see. But, Malarkey was trying to tell us about, our defender at the time. I can't think of his name. But, it showed him where he had, the speed of, on 3 plays.
I'm trying to think who you're talking about. I think I've seen that video.
Yeah. It's the dude that got the rap song too. I just can't think of his name offhand.
I can't either. I know who you're talking about, but I can't think of his name as well either. I'm trying to think. I'm stumped. I don't remember his name.
Well, I guess he wasn't that good if we can't remember his name.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, but the point is, any player can be good for a few plays here and there, but it's consistency that the Jags have lacked, and I think this year is going to be different.
Exactly. But also too, we have to have. My question for Paz is this though. I wonder as far as like on the field, is Paz a real vocal leader? That's what I'm wondering, because if you think back about like 5 or 6 years or 6, 7 years back when Jacksonville had the old crew, John Henderson, Marcus Stroud, Donovan Darius, Mike Peterson, we had a couple really vocal leaders on the field.
All right, I have his name now, Jeremy Mincy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Mincy. Yeah, he was on the Black and Teal video.
Former Florida Gator.
Yeah, I mean, he was good, but he wasn't great.
He plays now for, I forgot, he's from Georgia. He's from Statesboro.
He was a sometime player.
Cowboys now.
He'd show up like once every 2 games or something like that.
Well, that's all the Gator players.
Wait a second.
Oh, okay, so we got a shot at
we'll go back to TaylorMade. TaylorMade.
Nelson. Reggie Nelson.
No, we'll go back to Fred Taylor. You said all the Gator players.
Except him.
Bo likes to take shots at Gator players. That's the only thing Miami Hurricanes can look up forward to is taking shots, because they sure can't win. So
we beat Florida last year.
It's a gimme. It was a gimme. That's all.
I mean, y'all couldn't beat Georgia Southern, so that's not saying much.
Well, when you got a team that has 25 players injured and 14 of them are starters, I mean, what do you expect? 14 players across the board are starters. I mean, what do you expect? I mean, it's going to be a lot of bad days, and one of those injuries was your quarterback in Driscoll. I mean, true enough, I'm not that sold on Driscoll, because I still believe Florida has to change their quarterback development program, because it's failed. I mean, it failed Tim Tebow. It really did. Urban Meyer, they failed him. They failed Tim Tebow badly. They used his heart and his will to win for 2 or 3 years in college, and that was it.
Hey, you said a name that's not allowed here.
So did you give Tebow a chance?
There you go. There's that name again.
I think, to be honest with you, not a Tim Tebow thing. I think if we would have signed Tim Tebow, I believe the players would have actually. I think Tim Tebow could have gotten all of our players' attention better than Henny could. I mean, it would have been. First of all, we would have sold tickets. Because think about it, Tim Tebow is a local kid from that area, so I mean, we would have sold tickets. There's no problem. We would have had plenty of people at the game. I mean, and also too, we would have won a few games. I mean, just like I told you, Tim Tebow's just overall knack for football and his drive.
Okay, but here's the deal. When Tebow was in Florida, phenomenal college player, but you have to look at his supporting cast.
I mean, and that you do. He had Percy Harvin. He had the two itty bitty backs that were.
You also got to take into consideration what he did in Denver. They were 1-14 when he stepped in there and took them to the playoffs.
Exactly, because Kyle Orton.
You mean 1-4, right?
Carl Orton was looking like one of the replacements when he was playing. He really was.
I mean, Debo got in there and got that whole team, pumped up. They started playing. They started building, they really bought into him.
But
again, what if the Jags been missing for about 4 or 5 years since the garage, since the famous run in 2007 season? What have the Jags been missing the last couple of years? We've been missing that face, that person that can get everybody pumped up. It's just been too lackluster. Just like the cornerback, Aaron Ross, and they asked him what was it like to play for the Jags. He said, what did he say? A paid vacation? That's what he said. He'd like to play for the Jags.
Well, yeah, but I don't agree with what he said. But here's the deal, though. I watched Tim play a bunch of games. He didn't do shit for 3 quarters.
Yeah, but he won.
Winning or not, I mean, how would you like to be sitting at a game and first 3 quarters your quarterback don't do shit?
I mean, true. I mean, it happens because I think I know which game. You're referring to specifically, and it has to be the Miami Dolphin game. That's what you should be referring to.
No, I'm referring to the one where he went against Orton.
Okay. I mean, true. I mean, I understand what you're saying. True enough. I just think that the players in Jacksonville, they would have played with Tim Tebow.
But
they would have played for him.
You can't blame Jacksonville because he had the choice between the Jets and the Jags,
and he chose the Jets.
Yes, I mean, you're absolutely correct. He chose his own fate with that one. To the Jets. But
when he did that, I was like, "You dumbass! Why would you pick the Jets?"
Why would he? Because he probably wanted a change of scenery.
Exactly.
I'm thinking to myself, Jacksonville, they're going to have to start you because Malarkey, he was getting fired anyway, so they would have had to throw him in there.
But think about it. The face of New York has always been the Giants, not the Jets. If he could turn around the Jets, how big of a name would have Tim Tebow been?
Yeah, but he never really got the opportunity. When he did, he had a couple of drop balls on him. That's why I was like,
no, but
they didn't want to give him a shot.
But that's why I'm going to go in his defense of why he chose the Jets over the Jags. Plus his fan base. I mean, it's not that Tim Tebow was a bad person. He was a hell of a college player. It's not that if he went to the Jags, I would say boo Tim Tebow all the time. That's not the case. It's his fans that followed him. They made a mockery of him.
True. Tim Tebow, I think what it is with Tim Tebow is that the media, like you said, the media and the fans, they played a big part in it. And actually Tim Tebow, when he first got to the league, I mean, I've heard conversations on ESPN where Joe Montana actually stood up for him. Joe Montana said, well, you have to understand, everybody's different at each position. But the kid can win. We saw him complete passes. We saw him throw 50, 60-yard touchdown bombs in college. We've seen him do it. But it may not be the way you want it to be done in that particular manner. It may be another manner with another technique, another method. But you're still reaching the same goal. But I just think that it would have been. I just think it would have been good for the franchise of Jackson. I think it would have just been good for Jacksonville for the simple fact that it would have brought more. It would have brought more liveness to the stadium. I mean, we definitely would. Like I said, hello.
Yeah.
Johnny Manziel would have done the same thing.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, people would have paid. People would have paid to come see Tim Tebow or Manziel, either one. They would have paid to see them up close.
The biggest mistake.
People are buying in to Bortles. I think a lot of Jaguar fans are buying in.
The biggest mistake that Tim made was when he went to New England.
Exactly. Because I didn't even see this guy. I didn't see him smelling. I didn't even see him smelling the field with Tom Brady in front of him.
Yeah. He wasn't going to.
I mean, but who else wanted him?
But you know, if I was his agent, I would be like, you know what, pass up New England. I mean, you have to remember, Brady kicked the football to him.
Yeah.
There was no love lost there, and if you can't play in New England, you're basically done. And that's what happened with Taylor, too. His biggest mistake he did was go to New England.
Man, I don't know. I think he should have picked Jacksonville when he had a chance.
And
I mean, Jacksonville, there was no quarterback here. I mean, you had Henne and Gabbert, or you go over there to Sanchez, who was a little bit better, I guess.
Well, we'll see how good Sanchez is now. I mean, if the big dog out in Philly doesn't make it, Sanchez is right there. So.
Oh, I would love to see Sanchez week 1. I would definitely put a W down.
I don't know. Didn't he burn us?
Hmm?
Didn't the last time we played him, he burned us bad?
Last time I remember playing them was preseason. I don't remember.
The Jets? Yeah, I think we played the Jets during the season, and they burned us bad with Sanchez.
Okay, you're right, because that was in the preseason. That was the game where Gabbert was
great.
Gabbert was like 16 of 20 for like 180 yards and 2 TDs.
He made me. He had me. After I watched that game, that preseason game, I was like, okay, this guy finally got it.
Exactly.
He looked
and it's like everything just derailed after that game.
And the Chiefs game week 1 came, and I was like, oh man, this guy's not changed.
Exactly.
I don't know. He might do well in San Fran. You never know.
Yeah, but he has to see the field in San Fran, because right now the Colin Kaepernick train is going to be going for a couple of years. I mean, I don't see him. I believe that move was made just to have another body on the roster in that practice.
Well, I think at the same time, San Fran knows they got a running quarterback, and he can get hurt anytime.
True.
Yeah, that is very true. Just to say one last thing, as far as Tebow, if he did go to the Jags, there's a very good possibility he could have beat out Blaine Gabbert and Chad Henne.
I agree.
I think the fan support would have made it happen. They would have had to.
I agree. I think Tim Tebow could have beat out Chad Henne or Gabbert, either one of them. If Tim Tebow would have came to Jacksonville, Tim Tebow would be the starter, Chad Henne would be the backup, and then Gabbert would be third, basically.
But then, but we'd still be in the same situation right now. I don't think he's going to win that many games.
I mean, it would have been okay to look at just for a temporary time, but overall, we still would have been searching for that QB, that future QB. We still would have been, because Tim Tebow would have just been a fix for right now.
I don't know why he didn't. When he went to New England, I don't know why he didn't switch to tight end. I mean, New England had no tight end. I understand that he wanted to play quarterback, but I always think playing in the NFL is better than not playing in the NFL. That's just my personal opinion.
True. Yeah. And Tim Tebow could have been Tim Tebow could either play tight end or either could have played fullback. Either one, it doesn't matter. But he had his mind set on being a QB. He explained that in a lot of his interviews, that he had his mind set on being a QB. He didn't come to the league to be a back or a tight end. He did. Because let's be honest. The Josh McDaniels pick of Tim Tebow at the 31st pick. That shocked me right there. That shocked me.
That's one of the reasons he went to New England, because of McDaniels.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that. Here's the deal as far as the fan base, though. Jacksonville could not afford, as far as the fan base is concerned. I'm not talking about, the Gator fan base. I'm talking about the Jags fan base. Jacksonville could not afford to have Tim Tebow and the circus behind him. And it wasn't even, Tim Tebow wasn't a bad player. I mean, he wasn't a traditional quarterback by no means, but he wasn't a bad player. But after Matt Jones, Jacksonville could not afford another ruckus like that.
I agree. Matt Jones, and the thing about it is that Matt Jones physically had it all. He physically had it all to be where he could have been like Matt Jones could have been a top 10 player at either position, either quarterback.
He was fast. He ran a 4.3. God.
But he was afraid. He was afraid to get hit.
A 43-inch vertical as well too.
He played Wildcat. You do anything with this guy. Just couldn't get off the coat.
And he was afraid to get hit.
Well, we should have coached him up before the game. And maybe he would have.
But I mean, if you look at if you go back and you look at his plays of the week and everything, every time he catch the ball and then go down, there could be no one around him and he still go down. He was afraid to get hit.
True enough. I mean, like I said, the whole Blaine Gabbert situation is the exact same way as well too. He's afraid of getting hit. Blaine Gabbert had all the tools. I mean, the guy had all the tools to be an effective QB, but he just didn't have one main tool, which was heart. He didn't have it at all.
But going back to the Matt Jones thing, it wasn't outside of what he did. That's on him. The problem I had was if you were on the Jungle, which is the Jaguars official message board, you would see nothing but his fans just calling him God's gift. It was ridiculous, the amount of posts. And then when Tim Tebow came around, you had the same thing, but instead you had the Florida Gator crowd. I mean, it was so bad, when Matt Jones was around, it's like, okay, you couldn't talk about any other player because all his fans would turn everything into Matt Jones.
True enough. Matt Jones, like I say, I watched him play in college. When he was with Arkansas, I watched him play. I mean, the kid had it all. 6'6", had an arm, pretty quick feet. But he just screwed it up with his own. That's it.
And my only point is the fans really killed him. I mean, not literally speaking, but sometimes, fan power is mentally so much that it can, mentally affect the player.
So would that be Manziel? Manziel's got this like Tebow.
No, Manziel's different because Manziel got this huge confidence factor. When you look at Manziel, he's got a LeBron confident, factor into him. Will that amount to anything? Who knows? But he's just different. Where Tebow was a quiet, person, Manziel's a loudmouth.
True. Yeah. True enough. I mean, Manziel just has to mature enough. He just has to mature. I think Manziel is actually going to light Cleveland up. I think he's going to light them up, but he has to mature enough. That's all. But at the same time,
with who?
Isn't a guy like 22 years old? Isn't he like 22 years old or something like that?
Yeah.
He 21. He's a kid.
He is a kid, but who's he going to light it up with? That's all because
Gordon's gone.
Yeah, Gordon's suspended right now.
Him and Blackman are buddies.
That's wrong, but okay.
He said that Blackman are buddies.
All that money you want to get high. I just don't get it, man. I just don't get it.
It's a disease, man. Just like AA. AA is serious, man. There's some people that cannot stop drinking no matter what they do, and it's a battle day after day. It's a disease.
Yeah, but marijuana, I mean, Josh Gordon, you can't just stop smoking marijuana. They know when the piss test is coming. They're told. I just don't get it. I'm like, man.
Well, some people just want to get high.
I could wait. Till I retire.
I still don't understand what's the focus of that. Like, like you're pretty much like, I don't get it, like football players, pro football players. I mean, like, this is like, I look at pro football players as getting high, like getting in shape. Like, there's no reason to me for any pro football player to be out of shape when you're getting paid to play football, do what you like. So
I know
the same thing for getting high.
Think about it. You wake up at 8 o'clock, go to the gym 8 to 1, and you're off the rest of the day.
Here's the deal, though. If marijuana were to get legalized tomorrow, would Blackman be, let go of his charges and just get a sorry, or would the league give him money back? I mean, how would that work?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
Well, they're not going to legalize it tomorrow.
I think they still keep it in effect with Blackman, though. They still make a statement out of him. But him and Josh Gordon.
What would the rules for the NFL be? That would be the thing.
But him and Josh Gordon, that's too much talent to waste, especially in that aspect.
I think Josh Gordon was in a contract year. I mean, he just, man.
Oh, okay. Do you believe Blackman will be reinstated this year?
I think he will be.
I believe so. I believe Blackman will come back. I think Jacksonville knows it, but they're hiding it from everybody.
Well, there's supposed to be no contact rule, so that's why I think they're trying to hide it. That's why I think they're hiding it, because they're not supposed to be talking to him. But he's living in Jacksonville, so that's why I think they know what's going on.
And they had that ploy the whole time. They dropped them 2 wide receivers just to know, hello, we've got Blackman too. But we're not going to let anybody else know. That's why they drafted wide receiver. That was smart. That was absolutely smart.
I think those 2 wide receivers were high on their board, and they had to take them because we need the depth anyways.
Well, plus nobody's going to think that we're going to draft a wide receiver with Blackman.
Then if Blackman does come back and say Marquise Lee is injury prone, it's still insurance. I mean, it'll be like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Marquise Lee's injury prone.
I believe that when Marquise Lee does actually develop within the next 2 years, once he develops fully to his potential, then that's when they probably gonna start shopping around Blackman. See what you can get for him.
But if Marcus Lee ends up as good as he was in 2000, I believe it was 10, it was one of them years. If he ends up as good as that, and then you've got Blackman, a healthy Blackman, wouldn't you keep them to have 2 elite number ones?
Yeah, you got to get rid of Short. He'd be the odd man out. Shorts is just headed for a bad end with that one. Man, let me tell you, Shorts lied to me last. Let me tell you, last year I met Shorts, right? And I asked him. I said, "Hey, what's up with the quarterback situation? Is it just pure garbage, like I think in my mind, or is it good?" He said, "Oh no, man, we're gonna be good. The quarterback situation is perfect." He fucking lied to me.
He's like, damn it, Shorts, you told a lie.
Only on Teal Time. Well, you heard that.
And I told him too. I said, "Man, come on, man, be honest. I ain't gonna say nothing." He's like, "No, we're good. Just trust me." I said, "All right."
Yeah.
Notice he dropped a pass from D-Rob.
But again, like I said, when Marquise Lee finally does develop, that's when I think they'll shop around Blackman.
I wouldn't. I'd keep 2 number ones.
Why not?
Even though it's going to cost a lot, I mean, I'd keep them.
I don't know, because Blackman, with all his troubles, he might get him on a discount.
I mean, if you look at Indy, though, how many years did they have 2 number ones? You had Wayne and freaking Harrison.
Yeah. And they had a tight end, Clark.
But Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison only played together for like 3 years? Was it like 3-4 years or something?
Well, that was still 3-4 years of great.
Remember, Reggie Wayne didn't really break out until like 2 or 3 years into being on the team.
Okay.
He really broke out in 2004. he was on the 2001 Hurricane team, but it took him three or four seasons in to really become that guy.
Okay, fair enough. I still say you keep both of them, but it's going to be interesting because if Lee develops and Blackman comes back and healthy, you've got Shorts there and you've got the new Robinson, and then you've got Sanders, and then you've got the other Robinson. I mean, somebody's got to go.
See, but I think Blackman is a different player than Lee. Blackman can be, he can, like, if you throw him the ball, he can box the dude out, and he's a size. Marquise Lee don't have that size.
But Marcus Lee got speed.
Yeah, but he don't have the size. That's
Yeah,
why
he
I
has
think you gotta keep both of them.
he has more speed and finesse on him. Blackman, you can lob the ball up, but see, Blackman does better when you throw the ball out where he has to go get it, where he has to fight, where Blackman has to fight away from the DB to go get the ball. He does a lot better that way.
Plus, you could throw a Blackman a short pass, and he'll make it, into a long run.
Yeah, Blackman can turn a 10-yard play into a 30-yard play in an instant. He can. It's just that, like I said, all these attributes sound lovely to have in a player, but if that player is not focused, then it's pretty much going to waste. I think like I said, my biggest fear with Blackman is that I'm afraid that he's going to leave Jacksonville and go somewhere else and turn into a star.
Yeah, like Jimmy Smith.
Exactly. Because people don't realize that at first, Jimmy Smith actually played for the Cowboys at first. He was a Dallas Cowboy at first.
Yeah, exactly, and he had the same kind of troubles Blackman's having right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's having it again.
But Blackman, like I said, Blackman is going to be okay. He just has to humble himself, and he has to humble himself, and it's just going to take for one of those vets to actually get with him.
I just wish we knew, give us some kind of information on what's going on with him. Like, man, we don't know nothing. It's all speculation.
Doing a bit of a rewind, when we were talking about, weakest link, right now I'd say probably the tight end position as well.
Yeah, I would too.
But because of the simple fact that we have a pass catching tight end that can't stay healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
But for the simple fact that we've been struggling as a team for a couple of years to get a stable point for the quarterback position, which is why, the years that he did have a little health on him, we still weren't able to exploit his full potential because we had trouble at the quarterback position. You can be as fast as you want to be and as elusive as you want to be, but if you don't have anybody that can put the ball to you and put it where it needs to be for you can get it, then we're not really going to be able to see your talents. We're not.
I love Lewis, but the problem is I went to an Indy game. I watched him come out for a play and then went right back on the bike.
Yeah, because it kind of gives you the sense that he doesn't have any fight in him. It kind of gives you the sense of that.
Gus brings it out of him because I watched his interviews and it seems like he's working hard. So I don't know.
How in the world can he not have fight in him? He's a mixed martial artist.
I don't understand it, but it's the same thing. It's kind of the same thing that a lot of players were saying years ago about LaDainian Tomlinson. Every playoff game the Chargers went to, where did you see LT? On the sideline, on a bike. Every single game. But LaDainian Tomlinson, his heart has always been in question. But like I was saying, but when Blackman did have, some of the years when Blackman did have a little bit of health on him, not Blackman, but when Mercedes Lewis did have a little bit of health on him, a decent amount of health during the season, we've been struggling at the quarterback position so long to the point where he hasn't had anybody that can put it to him. We've been struggling offensive line-wise, quarterback-wise. So without an offensive line and a quarterback, I don't care if you got 2 4-3 runners at receiver. I mean, their talents are pretty much not going to be showed because you don't have anybody that can get them the ball.
All right, well, who plays the number 2 tight end right now?
I said that has to be Clay Harbor.
That rookie's been looking good. I forgot his name, but he's been looking good. Jansen or whatever his name is. So it'll probably be Harbor.
I say Clay Harbor. I'd actually like to see Clay Harbor start.
That's what I was about to say. Clay Harbor, when he gets time, actually can make things happen. Lewis, here and there, but I don't know. I just haven't seen the same Lewis in years now.
I'd like to see him start. I think that if
I'll tell you Lewis's last year. If he don't produce this year, he's gonna get cut. He's gonna be done as a Jaguar.
Lewis has had one season since he's been a Jaguar where it's been impressive, and that was in the. I'm trying to think. I think that was the year we went to the playoffs in 2007. Because one year he had like 750 yards catching and like 12 touchdowns.
He's getting like $8 million.
Yeah,
like I said,
that's too much.
Exactly, especially for a tight end like Lewis. That's too much money for him. I could see if Vernon Davis was getting that much money from the 49ers, but I don't even think he gets that much money.
He's holding out right now.
I don't blame him. If I seen that Mercedes Lewis, who, when he's healthy and when, he has, time, can make plays, is making more money than, Davis, who was a, quote unquote star of the team. Yeah, there would be an issue.
I think we'll draft a tight end next year. That's what I think.
We need to. Definitely need to. We've had Lewis since 2006, so it's about that time to reload the gun.
I'm sure Lewis will go to the Raiders.
Exactly. It seems to be the stop for everybody later on in their career to go to the Raiders.
I don't know, but this year's Raiders is not looking bad at all. I mean, regardless of, they're definitely in a win now.
Mojo still has it.
I think Mojo still could have produced, but at the same time, I really think Mojo was tired of Jacksonville. He was tired of it. I mean, I
watched him last year. At times, it looked like he had it, and at times, it looked like he didn't. And I was just like, it's just time to let go.
He lost his step. But in Mojo's, defense, I mean, you've got Mojo back there, and then you've got the other running back. I can't think of his name offhand. But he when he's healthy, McFadden, when he's healthy, that could be, a 1-2 punch right there.
Yeah. But both
exactly, and they have at
the same time too.
And they have Matt Schaub as well too.
I don't like Schaub.
And they've got Moore. He's very underrated.
You take Schaub over Henne?
Yes.
Exactly. I mean, of course. Just for the simple fact that Schaub, let me see. Schaub physically has it. He knows the field. But the thing about it is that I think Schaub just makes bonehead plays. He just makes bonehead plays. I mean, but physically, as far as like the intangibles and everything, Schaub has it. Henne doesn't have it all. He doesn't. He's just a guy that's just been around for a while, and he's pretty much paid his dues, and he's the best thing we have right now.
Well, I mean,
we have right now available.
Also, you have to think in Houston. I mean, who did he have as a receiver outside of Johnson?
Andre Johnson, nobody. and when you double team Andre Johnson, I mean, Arian Foster can't stay healthy now. The other players, Ben Tate and the other supporting cast, they never really stepped up. I mean, he had Owen Daniels as tight end, other than Johnson, but that's it. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, so he really had nothing to work with. I mean, that's just Shop's credit and whatnot. But we're going to go back to the Jags. I mean, we've been doing this for about an hour and a half now. I hope everybody has enjoyed it. All right. Anybody have any last moment topics here? We got about 20 minutes here.
What's that? What you say again?
Well, thank you for listening, Mr. Bo.
My last minute topic. I'm gonna say this. I just got a question in my mind. I just want to know when the national media is just going to give us respect. That's all. I mean, because even if you think about it, years back, when we were a playoff contending team in 2005, 2007, it was just 2004. Like, when are they going to give us our respect?
I don't know. I think they already are. Every time that I'm looking at ESPN or NFL Network, they keep on playing Bortles. So maybe Bortles is the ticket.
Well, I think Gus gets the respect. I think everyone thinks he's the next great coach, but we're not getting the respect from other fan bases, I'll tell you that. That's what I want. But no one else sees what they're building except us Jaguar fans, is what I'm realizing.
And I can explain a little bit about that. It's hard to get respect from, outside areas when inside, outside of, the average, Jag fan and, the diehard Jag fan, when the businesses are not supporting your home team, regardless of whether you're winning or losing, there's a problem. When you go to Walmart and you see more Gator stuff than Jaguar stuff, I was in Walmart. I seen a whole, row, dedicated to the Gators. And I seen one little bookshelf dedicated to the Jags in Jacksonville.
Well, college football is more popular, I would say, in Florida than NFL.
There you go. You have to change the mentality.
You can't change that.
But we need more. We just need more fan support. I mean, the fans they got the support. I mean, true enough. I mean, I know the fans want to see wins and they want to see results, but you have to push too. As a fan, you have to believe and you have to push.
I'm telling you, man. When I was down there for the rookie camp, and the excitement level was at a high it was packed. Like 6,500 people were out there. I mean, I think there's going to be some. I think the Colts game will definitely be sold out. The Steelers game will. And there's going to be some good games. Giants game.
But my point is, where are the Jag stores?
I think it's building. I think the city of Jacksonville is building around Gus, is believing in Gus and Dave. I really do.
And now also too, they're officially building that team. I mean, that team is building. That's why I said I see us in the next 2 years. Within the next 2 years, I see us really challenging for the AFC South.
I mean, plus everyone sees what Shad Khan is doing. I mean, redoing the stadium, making the right hires for GM, making the right hire for the head coach. I think he's just doing everything top class, like he said his goal was. Overall, it's just giving us a whole new identity, new stadium, new jerseys. Just a whole new thought process down in Jacksonville.
But
give us a.
And I'm not taking away from what you all are saying. What I'm saying though is, if you go to New York, okay, and you go downtown, okay, you'll see many sports stores carrying, Giant stuff, Jet stuff. They're supporting. When you're in Jacksonville, Jacksonville needs them stores that sell nothing but Jags gear or Jaguars gear and everything, and I'm just not seeing it. Maybe this year when I go down there, I will see it. You go on
that Jaguar group, then people post pictures of these stores lately, and they are nothing but Jaguars.
Okay.
All the new Bortles jerseys and stuff.
Okay, so it's changed.
It's changing. It is.
Okay.
Because the city they're building. Everyone understands that and sees it. And then you got to understand Bortles is from Orlando, so that's bringing another base into the Jaguar equation.
Okay.
True enough. I mean, like I was saying, man, I think, I think overall, once we get more support behind the team itself will want to perform a lot better either.
Wins will help. Wins will help tremendously.
Exactly. But it's a chain, because just like I was saying earlier, not trying to backpedal and jump back on the Tim Tebow thing, but a figure like Tim Tebow playing for Jacksonville, a local kid, we'd have definitely got a lot of support and ticket sales. For one, we'd have definitely sold out.
Well, Bortles has got to be that guy. He's got to be the face.
Exactly. Bortles has to show he's that guy. He has to keep it clean, no troubles, stay out of trouble, follow rules. Basically, he needs to be the All-American person. That's all he needs to be.
You got to play it. I mean, he's got the look. I mean, he's got the All-American look to him. He's 6'5", 230. Just can't he do it?
All right. Well, I mean, here's the deal, though. When you're talking about ticket sales, and everybody bashed, the Jags and the ticket sales and everything, and y'all are making great points. But originally, what was the Jags Stadium meant for? Was it meant for the Jags? No, it was meant for the
Georgia-Florida game.
There you go. That's why the stadium was overdone, and that's why they're rehauling the stadium and taking out areas and putting in new stuff, because it's not fair to the Jaguars, fan base, and it's not fair to the players or anything else to have all them extra seats that weren't meant for Jacksonville to begin with.
True.
And that's the only point I had as far as that.
A great point. And it's also true. Yeah. But again, like I was saying, I believe that Con, Gus, everybody's in the right direction. Everybody's heading in the right direction. As long as we can stay focused, we got a shot. We got a shot to get back on track.
And Bo, I'm going to disagree with you when you said it's college football based. I understand that Gainesville is around the corner, but if it was college football based, okay, because I've read the history of Jacksonville. Explain to me if it's a college football based, then why did we almost have the Colts? Why did we almost have the Cardinals? Why did we almost have the Saints if it's college football based? I don't buy that, and I think within the next few years that it's going to change.
I'll answer your question with one quick thing. What was that stadium in Jacksonville built for? You just said it. What was it built for?
Okay, the college game, but that doesn't mean that fans aren't craving NFL.
I mean, they're craving. The state of Florida is a big-time football state, so of course you're going to want to put. And I think Duval County is the biggest county in the state of Florida, so of course you're going to want to put a franchise, in the state of Florida.
Well, I mean, prior to the Jags, though, you had other teams from Florida.
Yeah, you had the Dolphins and the Bucs.
Correct. I just think that you're going to see as, Gus Bradley, improves the team and they start winning and everything, you're just going to see more as far as Jacksonville. I'm not talking about Gainesville. As far as Jacksonville, you're going to see more NFL style fans than college.
Yeah, but they're still going to love, Jacksonville's Gator and Florida State play. So you're still going to see all your Gator and Florida State fans on Saturdays.
And I'm not saying that. But if you're a family and you only have a choice of either having tickets for your college team or the Jags, what do you pick? I mean, that's what it comes down to. That's what it boils down to in that area. I mean, because jobs are hard to come by in a city of over 1 million people.
Yeah, but man, I don't think you understand how big college football is down here.
I truly do, and it's big out here
you live
too.
in Tennessee, so you should know how big it is.
Man, I lived off of Kernan Boulevard, man. I know how big college football is. I lived right between Beach Boulevard and Atlantic Boulevard, right off of Kernan. I can't say exactly where I lived. I lived out in Jacksonville.
I mean, you can go college football in the state of Florida at one time. I mean, it's bigger than the NFL because in the 80s, the Hurricanes players were getting more respect than the Dolphin players.
And that's true.
I mean, college football is bigger. I'm telling you, it's bigger because it's harder to win a championship.
And I understand what you're saying. Okay, I'm out in Tennessee. I'm not going to lie to people. I'd rather be out in Jacksonville. As far as I'd rather be a season ticket holder in Jacksonville personally, but I'm not. And I understand how big college football is. I'm in town of the division rivals, the Tennessee Volunteers. So I know how big college football is, and I know how big it can get because you can walk. Years ago, you'd go down here and you'd see nothing but orange throughout the whole town. So I understand, the vibe of college football. However, in a town where you have over 1 million people, you've got to be able to fill them stadiums week in and week out.
Well, if you're winning, they will fill. I mean, that's just the state of Florida in general. Look at the Dolphins. I mean, I remember as a kid, they blacked out. Look at the Bucks. Before they started winning, they had nobody until they drafted Warren Sapp and Derrick Brooks and all them.
Exactly. They have to win some AFC South championships. They have to win the division title. In order to gain respect, they have to.
First.
We were talking about, national respect. In order to have national respect from an outsider, right now, with me being out, where I'm at, I'm just going to consider myself an outsider, even though I did live out in, Jacksonville for a short period of time, and I'd rather be there. But from an outsider's perspective, they have to win the AFC South, consistently, or they've got to be runners in there in order for the national media to give respect.
Well, how far away are we from going above Indy and Houston? That's the question. How far away are we from overtaking them?
If we draft right and we have the right players and, we don't get the injury bug, 2-3 years.
But see, I think it's sooner than that because I don't think Indianapolis has a running game.
And I don't think Luck is as good as advertised.
I actually had a question about that myself. Luck is, to me, I think Andrew Luck is good, but at the same time, though, I think he's they're already putting him in that Peyton Manning type category, and that's not fair.
He
hasn't been there long enough or done enough long enough to be in that category.
He's not, honestly, he's not even close. And if you look at when he got drafted, look at his line that he had protecting him.
Exactly.
They were all first and second rounders. It was ridiculous.
I mean, but he could have came if he could have came out either Cam Newton came out and he's probably gonna be number one.
And hell, even one of his linemen was the NFL's biggest one of the biggest crybabies of all time, Jonathan Martin. I mean, think about it. One of his linemen in college. I honestly, let me ask you guys something. What about Richie Incognito? Could you see the Jags picking him up as a guard?
I would. I don't care about his attitude. I think offensive linemen are supposed to be mean and nasty.
I agree.
I mean, my thing is about the whole situation. if he was saying all these things, how come none of the players gave a crap?
Okay.
They were taking the incognito side the whole time.
True enough. I mean, I felt like other than the character issues, incognito would have been a tremendous upgrade for us as far as like guard wise.
I mean, and then you give him a contract where if he does mess up, oh well, you get no money, go home.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just.
The thing is, it's going to be tough to beat Houston. That's the thing. I mean,
they don't have a quarterback. Man, it's going to be an interesting season. I can't wait.
So you think this year we can win the AFC South?
Depending on Houston's quarterback play, and depending on can Indianapolis get a running game, because if they don't get a running game, you don't got you can. I don't believe in their I think we can compete for the title. I'm not gonna lie.
This year.
I'm not gonna say we're gonna win it, but I think we can compete for it.
All right, and what do you think, Bubba?
I think that I think we'll definitely be challenging for the AFC. I think that this year, like I said, I see possibly 8-9 wins, but definitely within the next two, we definitely should challenge. We definitely should challenge. In 2015, we should challenge. In 2016, I expect to be the AFC champion.
So 3 years down the line.
Yes, sir. It's just going to be a stepping stone. I mean, last season we was 4-12 with a banged up team, with a pretty much just jumbled up team, just a bunch of guys just go out there. They just actually played, but Gus got their attention and he gained their trust, which is why they were working hard for him during those couple weeks. But this season, like Bo stated earlier, I see 7 or 8 wins this season easily, based on the strength of schedule.
They better win 7 games. They better. I think minimum 7. I think the maximum could be 10.
If Chad Henne, shows the second half, it's possible. If he shows the first half, it's not going to happen.
Well, all he has to do is think like this: I don't have to win the game for him, but I just don't need to lose it.
He needs to be Trent Dilfer. That's what he needs to be.
Mm-hmm. As long as he watches the whole interception number. I mean, because I'll take plenty.
Why didn't we go try to get Hasselbeck? That's what I wanted us to go get. Go get Hasselbeck. He could have came in and gave us a year too.
We could have had Vic.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking about, and me and Bo actually talking about that already, about getting Vic. Because I automatically told myself, I said with a better line like we get now plus Vic, oh man, we might have would have been Super Bowl champions within the next 2 years with Vic, especially a healthy Vic.
But that should also tell you that Gus and Caldwell they got trust in Henne to re-sign him.
Mm-hmm.
They had nothing else on the market at that time.
Exactly. So I
mean, Vic was there, but Vic was already. At that point, it looked like Vic was going to resign.
Yeah, but I think if Jacksonville would have told him, I mean, he would have came to Jacksonville because he would have been able to start.
Michael Vick would have been a heck of a stopgap quarterback for Jacksonville until Bortles was ready.
But then you know what? With him, if he might have put us in a situation because he always gets hurt, he would have got hurt, and then Bortles would have had to step in maybe mid-year.
Well, Bortles is going to have to step in anyway.
Yeah.
Like I said, Michael Vick, the pickup of Michael Vick. If we would have picked up Michael Vick this season, the pickup for Michael Vick would have automatically upgraded us on offense.
Well, I mean, we could have had Vic, or we could have had the poor man's Vic as well, and Pryor.
Oh, Pryor can't throw.
He can't throw at all?
I don't believe in Pryor's throwing ability.
Honestly, like I said, man, the Michael Vick pickup, that would have definitely helped us, though. I was big up on it. The Michael Vick, when they said Michael Vick was available, because people don't realize that he was I think he said he was the number one quarterback as far as free agency this year. Michael Vick.
He was. I mean, there was no one really. I think it was him and Henne and Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, I don't want to hear about Fitzpatrick.
He's starting now, Houston.
Yeah, well, he's not going to be starting long. Didn't they pick up the guy from Pittsburgh?
Yeah, they got him.
Well, like I said, man, only time will tell, man. I'm patient. I'm willing to wait. I've been a Jags fan for this long, and I've been through the bad times. I'm willing to wait because I do feel like if I wait, something's good going to come out of it. So.
I agree there. All right, well, this is Ray.
This is Bo.
All right, this is Bubba.
And thank you for joining us on Teal Time. Join us next week, 10:15 p.m. on Monday. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Take care.
All right. Same here.